Welcome to Brighton, a famously liberal seaside city. Thriving with independent businesses and students from all over the world, it is quite literally the sunniest place in the UK. Welcome to Whitehawk, an area in the east of the city. An area that the BBC reported at the start of this decade has a significantly higher rate of unemployment compared to the rest of Brighton. An area that has a significantly lower amount of students achieving A to C in their GCSEs. An area where residents have a lower life expectancy than the rest of Brighton. An area in the bottom 5% of the most deprived in the UK. Whilst efforts are being made to improve such statistics, the area has long had a stigma attached to it. A reputation that residents and visitors of Whitehawk are aware of.
With Whitehawk, it had a reputation years ago, and it's never sort of lost that reputation because mud sticks. So people go, oh, Whitehawk, and they go, oh no, that's a dodgy place.
I think the most part people kind of forget that Brighton comes this far. Like they just think it ends at Kemp Town and then there's nothing else past it, and then anything after that is like just not part of Brighton.
A lot of the posher people in Brighton are scared of Whitehawk. They don't like it. They don't like the idea that there's lots and lots of poor people right on their doorstep.
Oh, the reputation that it's got is really, I don't know the word for it, like, so well, it's complete crap, basically.
I lived there for like, I don't know, half a year or something like that, and it's a great community vibe there, really. That's like, I'd say the negatives, like attachment, just stems from just certain aspects of the media or something like that, you know, to sell a story.
As years have gone by, it's quietened down. There's been a lot of redevelopment, you know, with the little place it is, and it can only go for the better. It can't go back, you know what I mean?
Whether the reputation is an accurate one or not, the crime league tables show that Whitehawk is no worse than areas such as London Road, the Lanes or the seafront. Yet the stigma attached has become the go-to depiction of what the estate is like. But past the media representation and the statistics, Whitehawk has found a different way to express itself. Through its football club. They play in the 6th tier of English football, and aided by their unique citywide support, Whitehawk FC and the Whitehawk Ultras are shining new light on Whitehawk as an area. And they're doing so with a positive message that maybe says more about the estate than previous stats and news reports ever could.
You could sum it up in one sentence, which is football's for all. You know, this is football is a game of the working class. You know, it's not supposed to be taken over by the super rich, and it's not supposed to be taken over by racists or homophobes.
We don't want people being homophobes, we don't want people being sexist or racist, and we're not going to let people, if people want to stand with us, then they can't do that.
Whitehawk Football Club as a club has always been a family-friendly club.
Most definitely, Whitehawk Football Club is first and foremost, it's family orientated.
They don't like swearing here. You know, they're adamant, but you know, swearing's for the lower class. We're not lower class. You know, we are Whitehawk, and we want to put ourselves on the map and show, but this can be a family-run club, you know, with great directors and owners, you know what I mean? And the Ultras just add to that, especially when they've got their music going, with their drums and whistles and cowbell.
And it was always like kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing, because it was like 3 guys going away to matches and calling themselves Ultras with like one flag, and it was like a bit of a joke, and that's still kind of what it is. Like it's not, you know, it's not like the Italian Ultras and stuff. Like no one's there to like take it too seriously. It's like just meant to be having a laugh, having a good time.
I've been going to football since I was like 8, which sadly is about 30 years. I've been to like Premier League games, I've been to like Championship games, I've been to like European games, but I've never seen like anything as inclusive and fun and just a joy for football and life than I've seen with the Ultras.
I went along with my girlfriend at the time, and then just all of a sudden, like, a couple of these guys just come up to me like, "Oh, what's your name? I haven't seen you here before," you know, and just being really like generally quite friendly, and then they became my friends really, like to this day. Like I still speak to every single one of them that introduce themselves at night.
Well, my first game was supervising a master's student from Indonesia, and her boyfriend was over. Now, I had heard Whitehawk as a story. I had never been there before, and yet here I am going with 2 Indonesian students, and they brought their Japanese flatmate. One of the members of the club at one point came up to me and said, "Oh, thanks for bringing your students along. If you want to bring any more, just bring them along." The photographer, he came across and said, "Oh, welcome to Whitehall. If you go over there in the end, that's where all the good noise and singing is." And it automatically, within 5 minutes of being there, 2 different people had a very inclusive and welcoming approach. And it was just like, okay, this is going to be a good place. This is going to be a good place.
The impact of the club is showing how football can become more than just a sport, with the message of the fans remaining the same should they win, draw or lose. For Mark Deutsch, a sports sociologist at Brighton University, it is evidence that football fandom can be used as a political force.
Whitehall is, as I understand it, the poorest place in southern Britain, and I think it is important to showcase an alternative. I think one thing that is excellent about the Whitehall Ultras is that whilst they are very passionate about anti-discrimination, it's actually about football for all. So it's not just about being sort of the lefty, right-on, anti-racism, anti-homophobia, anti-sexism, which are all important, but it's also about working with your local community. So the fans have done a lot of work to raise money and have collections for the local food bank, and to try and reach out to the local community. And some of the fans, the fans are from Whitehawk, born and bred. And I think it's very important that the Ultras continue to do that, that it's not just a group of cool fans from the centre of Brighton, but it's actually reaching out to all forms of the community, those who are economically excluded as well as those who are excluded on basis of gender or sexuality or race and ethnicity.
Racism, we say no! Racism, we say no! Oh, we say no! Sexism, we say no! Sexism, we say no! Sexism, we say no! Oh, we say no!
Football is political. Like everything in life, football is political. But one thing I like about Whitehawk is it's not a kind of conscious, po-faced, political, academic kind of, we're going to consciously be political. It's organic.
We're showing that although this is allegedly one of the worst areas, or when that report came out, it was one of the worst areas in the country, actually there is something really positive going on there.
Even without the ultras or whatever, the community almost has that sort of all-inclusive sort of like mentality, like when I lived there or whatever, you know what I mean? You'd almost say it's being there, through the area, a certain nature.
What goes on at the enclosed ground on a Saturday afternoon may not be the be-all and end-all of life on the Whitehawk estate. When the final whistle blows, the deprivation does not cease with the game of football. However, what is going on here is a unique movement. A movement that is helping to remove some of the stigma surrounding this humble part of Brighton.